Pass. 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 Smash. Smash. Double smash. Pass, oddly enough. Smash.
Tell people you live in Michigan without saying anything.
My money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle, for sure. It makes me want to dribble dribble, you know, riding in my Fiat. You really have to see it. 6'2" in a compact, no slack. But luckily the seats go back. I got a knack to relax in my mind, sipping some red wine.
You can count on me like 1, 2, 3, I'll be there. And I know when I need it, I can count on you like 4, 3, 2, and you'll be there. 'Cause that's what friends are supposed to do, oh yeah. Ooh, ooh.
There were things we could never do again, but then there always seemed right. There were nights of endless pleasure. It was more than all your lost in love. Baby, 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 when you touch me like this, and when you hold me like that, it was gone with the wind, but it's all coming back to me. When you see me like this, and when I see you like that, then we see what we want to see, all coming back to me.
Oh, that was so great. Special thanks goes out to Jason Dale and Dan Kessler at Rochester Hills TV for producing this video each year. That was great. I think we need a video like that every Monday. As you can tell, they put a lot of time and effort into it. If you have any questions you would like to ask one of our panelists, please fill out a note card that you will find on your table. Volunteers will be by later to pick up the cards. It is now my pleasure to introduce our moderator for today, David Dulio. David is a distinguished professor of political science and the director of the the Center for Civic Engagement at Oakland University. He has published 13 books and has written dozens of articles and book chapters. Dulio is also a former American Political Science Congressional Fellow on Capitol Hill, where he worked in the U.S. House of Representatives. Please welcome David Dulio.
Thanks.
Oh, welcome.
Good morning, everybody. I knew it was hard to follow Glenn. That's a standard here at OU, but now it's even harder to follow a TikTok video. I'm still trying to process that. Thanks to Maggie, Pam, and John for the invitation to moderate today's star-studded panel. I'm going to introduce our panelists and invite them up to the stage, and then we'll get into some questions. First, Robin Buxor, Oakland Township Supervisor. Yeah, first, right on. Robin Buxor has served on the Oakland Township Board of Trustees since 2013, first as a trustee, then clerk, now as Township Supervisor. She is a member of the OPC Governing Board and the Paint Creek Trail Commission. Robin serves as the chair of the Elections Commission and is a current member of the Oakland Township Historical Society. As a lifelong resident of Oakland Township, Robin graduated from Rochester Adams High School and holds industrial engineering and business management degrees. She is currently a program manager in the Advanced Manufacturing Engineering Group for Grammar Americans and Automotive Tier 1 supplier. And let's add to that, TikTok star. Yes, welcome, Robin. Next, Mayor Pro Tem for the City of Rochester, Nancy Salvia. We had a very nice bio for the mayor, but we're going to skip that. Nancy is first team now. Nancy is Senior Vice President and Senior Financial Advisor at Merrill Lynch Wealth Management. Yes, welcome. Next, soon to be inducted into the Pickleball Hall of Fame, Brian Barnett, Mayor of the City of Rochester Hills. Brian K. Barnett has served as Rochester Hills Mayor for 16 years. In 2015, Barnett won a historic mayoral term as a write-in candidate, very hard to do, earning the largest write-in vote in a general election in the history of the state of Michigan. In November 2019, he was reelected to a fourth term, receiving an overwhelming majority of write-in votes once again. During his tenure, the city has been ranked as one of the top places to live in America and has held the title Safest City in Michigan for the past 5 years. In 2019, he was elected by his peers to become America's mayor, leading cities across the country during historic time as our nation entered the pandemic. Mayor Barnett's vision for Rochester Hills is to be the preeminent place in America to live, work, and raise a family. Welcome, Mr. Mayor. And last but certainly not least, Dr. Robert Shaner. Dr. Shaner has served as the superintendent for the Rochester Community School District since 2013, where he oversees a skilled workforce of more than 1,500 teachers, administrators, and support staff who serve 15,000 students, primarily within the city of Rochester, Rochester Hills, and Oakland Charter Township. Dr. Shaner was honored with the 2020 Superintendent of the Year Award through the Michigan Association of Superintendents and Administrators and the Superintendent Communicator of the Year Award through the Michigan Schools Public Relations Association. Please, another round of applause for all of our panelists. As we heard just before we got started, there are note cards on your tables. If you would like to ask a question, please feel free to jot them down, and wonderful volunteers will come around and collect them, and we will we'll ask them. So, panelists, let's just take a minute or two and have each of you summarize the 2 or 3 most important developments in your community or within your constituency in the last year or so. We'll start at the far end.
Lucky me, the newbie. As far as initiative goes, our top priorities typically stay the same in Oakland Township. We're focused on keeping Oakland Township in a position or standing as one of the safest communities in the United States, according to SafeWise. We proactively are managing our growth and development, as well as our long and tradition of being a conservative monetary government, so it keeps us in good financial standing with strong financial management. So we have a healthy general fund, we have minimal debt and no legacy costs, so we are in an excellent economic position moving forward. In 2022, we also started construction in our southeast water district for water storage that was mandated by the state. So that construction has begun, and we also started the process in the southwest for water storage, and that is now in the engineering phase. We also added to both our fire department, EMS staff, and our police department staff through the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. And finally, the number one thing in Oakland Township is always roads. So for the roads, we have seen resurfacing of Rochester Road, a traffic light added at Rochester and Stony Creeks, and paving commencing on Clarkston Road between Lake George and Adams Road, and that will complete this year. We also have additional projects and whatnot scheduled for 2023. Okay. First timer.
Well done.
Good morning. Nice job, Robin.
Not as comfortable as these folks.
Yeah. Well, I think Stuart just wanted to make sure you were comfortable, and I was the true rookie. So,
Okay.
yeah. When you get the call Sunday night after dinner that, hey, I got a fever, I'm not going to be able to make it tomorrow. I get the note cards out. I'm, reviewing some things, but happy to be here, seeing so many community faces. We are all blessed to be part of this amazing community, and none of it happens without all of you leaders. So on behalf of Rochester, what's happening in Rochester over the past 2 to 3 years, I'm happy to say I'm a numbers person, so I'm going to start with the numbers, that we are still financially strong. We are very proud of our AAA bond rating, and our budget last year, our revenues increased by 6.8%. Property values, as you know, have been going up, so our neighborhoods are flourishing. And what I like that I see happening in our neighborhoods is we have young families moving into Rochester. I know at a state level, families tend to be moving out, but in Rochester, young families are moving in. Also in the city of Rochester, for the past couple of years, we've accomplished some infrastructure projects. Water, sewer, roads, not glamorous, but it's what we see and touch and feel every day. So we have a long-term plan, but I'm happy we wrapped up some things that everybody touches and feels, things like crosswalks over there by the Royal Park, things that just needed some maintenance. So we've really done a lot of great work in the city. And lastly, I'll mention that our businesses are flourishing. Our businesses are reinvesting in their buildings, in their businesses. Our largest employer, Power Pharmaceutical, thank you, is investing in their building. They're expanding. They received some government contracts so that we are going to be making more medical things here locally, which is a big lesson from the pandemic, that we need to make things here more locally. So we're very proud to have your business within our community and see you investing back into it. So many great things happening in Rochester. And wait, one other very exciting thing that's happened over the past 2 years, we have 2 murals. Did you hear that, Brian? We have 2 murals in downtown, and there just may be a few more coming because we really have a passion for art in our downtown. Thank you.
I really can't stand Mayor Pro Tems, if I'm honest with you. They just sort of lurk. I said earlier, I'm my eye on you, President deal. Good morning, everyone. It's nice to be here. I'm going to try to be one of the speakers that is not going to be sued by State Farm for stealing their tagline today. Man, our city's crushing it. I mean, I've been doing this for a while now, blessed to have a job that I love in a city that I'm passionate about. And Rochester Hills, if you were at the press conference, our economic indicators, and this is a chamber event, so we try to focus on a little bit of the economic indicators, are as good as they've ever been. Unemployment is under 2%. You can almost not say that, and it doesn't seem real. Commercial vacancy is 3.6% citywide. So far this year, we've had 2 new businesses opening every week. If you have a home in the city of Rochester Hills, you know what the value of your home is. It's never been higher. And you drive across town, you see the construction happening. People want to be in this community. And I think the unique responsibility for a mayor and for the city council is to focus on what you do to keep people here, right? Because our folks are highly talented, they're highly educated, they could go anywhere for work. So what do you do? And our council and administration has chosen to really double down on parks. I'm really excited about the work that we've done. How many of you have been to Innovation Hills? Look at that, that's awesome. How many of you have bragged about Innovation Hills after you've been to somebody else? That's even better, love those hands. This is A huge honor for us to open up one of the coolest new parks in Michigan. It's getting even better this year with 2 new significant expansions. But it's not just that park. It's Bloomer Park that's getting completely redone this year. It's Borden Park that got completely redone last year. We're putting new pickleball courts. And I don't know if you heard how wonderful pickleball is, Dave. It is really a fantastic sport with fantastic people. But we're putting in more pickleball courts, trying to make up for my blunder at the press conference. But it's a great time for Rochester Hills Parks. And we're also investing in the infrastructure as well, the road projects, Drexel Gate, Barclay Circle, the work over by Yates Cider Mill. But for us, it's really trying to create that sense of place. We have a beautiful community. And listen, I've never had anyone say, you know what, you've invested too much in parks. I've never had that complaint yet. I've never had someone say, you know, that park is too nice, or there's too many activities. I mean, people are always really genuinely excited about investments in parks. Ken Elward is the director of our parks team, a lot of parks folks here. So you're going to see a lot more happening on the parks front end, and I'll talk a little bit more about some of the cool economic development stuff in a few minutes.
Thank you, and good morning, everyone. First of all, I think I'd like to start out with gratitude for our entire staff at Rochester Community Schools. I am blessed to work with a team of amazing people that are focused on hope, inspiration, and love every day and working with your children. And we really need to take the time to show them the gratitude that they deserve. Over the last 10 years, as our team has moved the school district forward, we've also taken a measured approach to our business. We've improved our business outlook. We've improved our fund balance from 10 to 22%. The bond that we passed, you passed for us. We were able to sell bonds on the open market, which most school districts do not do. They go to the school bond loan fund. And Rochester was such a desirable bond, we were able to sell them at a premium. What that does for us is to be able to continue to serve kids at a world-class level. All of our facilities now are up to a world-class standard, including the administration building. And we even recently, during the pandemic, put 15,000 computers in the hands of every one of our students. So we continue to focus on meeting the needs of all of our students. I think you saw from the video us working at the farm, at Three Moons Farm with our special education students, which is it's a project of mine, much like the mayor likes his parks, I like my horses, and bringing the peace that they bring to students and the growth that we're able to see with them. So a lot of gratitude to our community, a lot of gratitude to our staff. And if anyone wants to be a bus driver, we are hiring bus drivers. We will train you. And quite honestly, it's an awesome job because you get to be around kids every day. And
look at your pie
people
thing.
that see our kids.
If you don't have a sticker on the back of your pie thing, you're a bus driver. So that's
yeah.
Congratulations.
Because you're the first person to see our kids every day and the last person to see our kids every day. And it's super important, and we appreciate the work that they do. Thank you.
Thank you all. So as everybody here knows, the Chamber is focused on economic development, business growth, and providing programs and services that enhance business potential. So we'll start there. For the mayor and mayor pro tem, how are the current economic indicators and trends, for example, fears of a recession by some, or seemingly conflicting information about the labor market, job growth and layoffs at the same time, how are those impacting the growth of business in your community, and how do those trends affect how you attract new businesses? Mr. Mayor?
You want me to take it?
We'll go to the mayor first.
Thanks. I think. So it's a great question. Obviously, that's the core of why we're here. So many of you in the room here are small business owners, you're entrepreneurs, you're people that are contributing to our economic climate. And I always say in Rochester Hills, we're not really one large business. We're a lot of mom and pops and small businesses with 10, 15, 25, 50 employees trying to figure out how to make ends meet and create a value in the community. We asked our business community through the Mayor's Business Council, which I'm really exceptionally proud of, to find out what they thought. The numbers that they just told us at the end of last year, that 70% of them are looking to increase their headcount in Rochester Hills, in their locations here. 85% of them currently have positions open. So we know that there's a need. And one of the great things we can do as a mayor, we have one great power, and that is to connect people, bring people together. And so we've spent a lot of time in our economic development department to connect the need in the community, those companies that are hiring, looking for talented people, with a resource, trying to grow the folks graduating from Oakland University, Rochester, and other places to connect that talent here. I mentioned this earlier, and it's kind of a little bit silly, but it's a great idea because one of the things I pride myself on is the innovative people I surround myself with. Our team is the best. And one of our team members came and said, Mayor, what if we gave everybody who moved to Rochester Hills a free puppy? I thought, that's crazy. And then I sat on it and slept on it and thought, that's not a terrible idea. And Pamela Valentek and her team worked themselves around and came up with a plan, partnered with Leader Dogs. And you can imagine, I said this story in the press conference, if you're an 8-year-old moving from Stuttgart, Germany to an unfamiliar school district and an unfamiliar community, but you know at the other end, there's a cute puppy waiting for you, what a tremendous competitive advantage our city has, and no one else in the world is doing it except Rochester Hills. We gave out 10 puppies the first day we opened up the program to new people moving in. So in Rochester Hills, you come to our community, you get a free puppy. How about that? Go ahead, Nancy, your turn.
So unfair. I can't compete with puppies. I've got boring data and facts.
And murals.
And murals. And murals. Thank you. So seriously, as a financial advisor, I talk about recessions and data and what that looks like. And so let me just frame this word recession. So what is a recession? A recession is a couple quarters of negative gross domestic product. So it means our economy in the nation is not growing, it's contracting. So our outlook, this is Merrill Lynch's outlook, you hear it from all the different institutions on the street, is there's gonna be some sort of soft recession this year. Initially they said second quarter, now they're saying third quarter. So what does a soft recession look like? So from a number standpoint, that's minus 0.4. So now whenever we hear the word recession, I think we all, maybe we've got a little like trauma shock, we all think 08-09. We think, oh my gosh, are we gonna have another 08-09? Well, in 08-09, the GDP contracted 4.3%, and it lasted 18 months. The outlook is in 2024, we'll be back positive again. So soft. And so what does that look like to Rochester, Rochester Hills, Oakland Township, to our residents? It probably means our home values aren't gonna keep going up as much. You know, they might soften a little bit. It probably also means that wages aren't gonna keep going up as much. And things like that can't continue. So as government, as the entities, we need to keep doing things like Brian mentioned. Keep connecting, keep communicating, and keep making our communities the most amazing places where people want to come and live, and they're probably gonna be working from home. So they're probably gonna be spending in their homes. So that's how we keep our economy strong.
And another factor is talent, obviously, right? And in 2022, a report was released noting that Michigan ranked 4th in the number of people leaving the state. I think the number 43,000 was mentioned at the press conference this morning. So people are leaving Michigan. Editorial note, of the 15 public universities in Michigan, Oakland University leads the state in the number of students who stay in Michigan. Yes, you can clap for that. So for our panelists, it's hard to imagine here in our communities which see folks come in, that the state is experiencing this kind of trend. So with 2% unemployment rates for the area, and being surrounded by global companies, a strong workforce is critical, obviously, to attract folks. So, Supervisor Buxar, now that you have settled in a bit at the helm of Oakland Township, if you had 2 minutes to convince an out-of-towner to move to your community, what would you say?
Well, fortunately for me...
And murals and puppies are off the table.
I was going to mention, well, fortunately for me, people don't seem to need any convincing to move to Oakland Township.
Oh!
Even though some of our neighbors have slogans and marketing campaigns and give away free puppies, we have seen consistent growth over the long term, or not for free, puppies, just giving away puppies. We have seen the consistent growth throughout our community over the long term in all of our housing types. So for us, the township is the premier location in Southeast Michigan to live and enjoy our outdoors, our hiking, our trails, our over 1,500 acres of open space through our park system. So that's what I say.
Thanks. Mayor Pro Tem, what's your 2-minute pitch?
2 words. Hallmark movie. Do you want to be in your own Hallmark movie? We have the most charming downtown, the friendliest people, rivers, trails, great restaurants, local shops. Your own Hallmark movie.
That was
Nice.
good. Good job.
Mr. Mayor?
I don't find your people that friendly.
Wow.
Just kidding. It's the pickleball thing all over again, isn't it?
It is.
Man. You know, we have a great community. I was thinking about this question, and I'm thinking, like, a silly answer. Like, I take them to Cruise and Mirror, I put the bread in front of them. If they don't like the bread, we don't want them here. But somebody over there, yeah. You know, we have a beautiful community. I don't think you have to say much. Drive around. You know, our city's called Rochester Hills. There aren't too many straight streets. Everything's got undulations and hills. We have a beautiful community. We have great schools. We have great parks. And you know, we've attracted people who don't really like to leave. We have a lot of folks that have been here a long time that have established roots, which is why our community is aging. We're a bit of an older community because of fantastic assets like the OPC and others and the library and so many things why people come here, they don't want to leave. And so I think for me, I'd put them in my car, I'd drive them around, and I'm very convinced that they'd stay. They'd love what they see.
One thing you can say about our leaders is they are competitive. That's not lost on anybody. Dr. Shaner, schools are obviously a huge factor in why families choose to locate in a particular area. What would you say to an out-of-towner considering moving into the RCS district?
Well, the first thing I would talk about is our amazing staff. And we often do this. We invite people in for tours, and when they meet our principals and our teachers and the support staff, it's really not much of a sales job. Rochester Community Schools is one of the few school districts in Oakland County that's not open to choice, and we're still able to maintain our enrollment. And that's because of the amazing people that we work with, the amazing curriculum that we offer, and the amazing facilities that we have. It is truly world class. 46% of our kids end up with a 3.7 grade point average or higher. 47% through their whole entire 4 years. It's amazing. So I think similar to Brian's answer, I ask them to come and experience it and talk to the staff and talk to the community and really be part of a world-class organization.
That's great, thank you. There's a new day in Lansing in terms of state government, right? Democrats now have control of all levers of government for the first time in 40 years with new majorities, although slim, in the State House and State Senate. So to our panelists, what would you, 2 questions. What would you like to see the new state legislative leadership do in terms of making Michigan a more attractive state for business? Anybody want to go for, yeah?
Sure,
Mayor
I'll go.
Pro Tem?
So, easy first part to it. We've heard at the state level they have surprisingly a surplus of funds. We could bring some of those back down to the local level through local revenue sharing. And then if you look at states that are attracting businesses, they have things like access to capital, strong economies. But really, Dave, you mentioned probably the key one is workforce. Really, we have a good workforce, but we need to continue to work on our workforce. So we need government to get involved in what I'm calling, we need to make working cool again. It needs to be popular to go and work a job. You know, we have a national mental and physical health crisis. When you work a job that you feel proud, that you made something, that you helped someone, it builds your self-esteem, you're physically active, it's good for you. So we need programs that really instill that in our culture, in our communities, that it's cool to go out and work a good day's job. Now I get in saying that, I sound like my dad. I hear the voice of my dad in my head as I say that. It was a good day, everybody went to work today. But it's true, you feel really good about yourself when you work a good job. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I think, first of all, we have great representatives. Our state senator, Mike Weber, our state representative, Mark Tisdale, both kind of graduated from the Rochester Hills City Council. They understand local government. They understand the needs of local municipalities. And you need a state that, that needs to be both pro-worker and pro-business, right? You have to find the middle. I think that's what most people want. They want Republicans and Democrats to work together for the state. They want smart, common sense solutions. They want to support workers. They also want to support businesses. You have to make it. You have to create incentives for people to want to open businesses here. Michigan has a lot of advantages. We have a highly educated workforce. We have more engineers per capita than just about any place in the region. We have something. When I talk to my colleagues across the country, we have something that everyone envies. Water in tremendous abundance. And I can't tell you how many times you talk to people in the South and Southwest who have to make major business decisions about water. There's a lot of things that we have advantages here, and I love our local representative team. They do a great job representing us, and what I want to see is more creative concepts. We do have the benefit of some monies to do some unique things, working together across the aisle to present some really unique local solutions.
Yeah, real quickly, our teaching workforce is challenging. We have a teacher shortage, and I think we need to make that profession attractive for people to come into. And as you said, take pride in a job. There's no better job in the world than dealing with young people and working with them every day. But we need to make that profession attractive. And we talk about workforce. I also think I would ask the legislature to look at this from a system standpoint. Workforce, mental health, it all needs to be done from a system standpoint. We often see a lot of money thrown in one period in time with no thought of systemness. And I think if we're going to cure the mental health problem, or at least address the mental health problem that we have, not just with young people, let's be honest, the pandemic was rough on all of us. If we're going to do that, we need to do it systemically, and that money needs to be time-bound. I really believe that.
I would just add, all very good comments. Just to add on to what was said, I agree. Having a job, having pride in your work, very important in getting people to understand that, but also for the state legislature to work with businesses and individuals to keep taxes low. That will also drive economic opportunity. With opportunity and low taxes on both those two entities, that will help bring people and keep people.
So let's switch gears a little bit to what some might consider a dirty word, transit. We're past the debate. It's over, right? The transit millage has passed. So what do we do now? What would you like to see in the plan specific to your community, and what will you do to ensure that your community gets something of value with this new plan for our leaders here?
Yeah, so that transit, it's an interesting topic. Our community supported it. I've been talking about transit and how it would impact Rochester Hills for many years. The OPC does transit really, really well. And part of the benefits of this new program, this new tax that's started the first of the year, is that OPC will get more money. Now, Renee and her team do a great job. Nobody does transit like she does. Fantastic. Outside of that, I've struggled in the years past to understand how transit fits in a community like ours, because very honestly, in 16 years of being mayor, I get about 5 transit request questions a year. And I've worked with many of the transit people throughout the years to try to figure out how it would fit in Rochester Hills and how our community could benefit. Our community is going to send $4 million a year to the county for transit. Now, you're right. I'm going to be at the table trying to get as much money as I can. I know what $4 million does. $4 million builds Innovation Hills every year, right? $4 million is a lot of money. Now, one of the things that I've been actively working with our county commission, several members that I've talked in the past, a system that I think might work would be Uber-like credits. We're very familiar with Uber. If you had in your personal wallet a $150 or $200 Uber credit where you could call and it was very personalized, I think that would fit and work in our community, could work in our community. In terms of traditional fixed routes, they're talking about one down Walton and maybe one down Rochester Road. I don't know. I haven't seen the need for that, and maybe I'm missing it. But all the indicators that I've seen haven't suggested that that's a tremendous high priority need in our community. I'll be advocating for flexible use spending, things like Uber-like credits for members of our community in the future.
Oh, wait, I want to jump in. Go ahead. I'm going to jump in because I exactly like you, same thought process. I think our 3 communities combined give approximately $6.1 million for this millage. It is one of Oakland Township's largest millages, so the transit tax. But again, I would agree, the fixed bus structure and that routing system going down Rochester Road or whatnot does little to no good to benefit the people in our community. So having some kind of door-to-door flexible scheduling, Uber-esque or Uber-like transit would be the emphasis, or the way I would look to go also, and hope that that's where I would put my energy behind.
So this is why our partnership up here is so important. One of the things that the school district is struggling with is workforce, right? We have a hard time hiring custodians and bus drivers. And in the past, those people were local folks, particularly our bus drivers. Many of them were retired folks that enjoyed driving a bus a few hours a day. We don't have that anymore. We're trying to attract workforce. And one of the things that we're finding out, particularly with our custodial staff, is they have a hard time getting to work. So it'll be important for us to have that conversation, and maybe some of that flexible use can help us with our workforce issue.
Yeah, I'm just going to build on that. I think we're all kind of on the same page saying the same things. I was going to say OPC, OPC, OPC. I do sit on the board of the OPC as well. And just to give you a few numbers, are you getting it? I'm a numbers person. In the recent OPC budget, we had about $800,000 for transportation. So that was for our seniors and disabled in all of our communities. With the new budget that's being put through currently with this new transit tax, it's just over $2 million that will be flowing through the OPC doing transit. And so, you know, they're adding a route manager, they're adding drivers, hopefully we can hire them. We are adding EV buses, but the goal is that flexible transportation model, the Uber, because one bus going to one destination really is not efficient, and it's not what our residents need. So I do think that should be the approach. And then I'm going to throw out a dream that I have. So if you talk to Pat McKay, anytime you talk to Pat McKay, you learn something about the history of our community, right? Well, Pat once told me that used to, back in the day, you could get a train from downtown Rochester and be in downtown Detroit in 20 to 30 minutes. Well, I don't know about today, but it takes me much longer than that in my car. So we've kind of gone backwards. So my dream would be some high-speed transit, zip, zip, up and down to Detroit. Now, I don't know how that's going to happen, but if you don't put a dream out there, it'll never happen.
I just want murals. I just a slower dream.
It's been mentioned a couple times that it's wonderful that we're all able to be in this room together, packed in here like sardines. So as we put COVID-19 in the rearview mirror, it's no question, and this goes to Dr. Shaner, it's no question that all around the world, young students have experienced a bit of a setback the last few years. Some academically, some socially, some emotionally, and some hit the trifecta. We're fortunate to have an excellent school district in which the test scores and apparently GPAs continue to be at or near the top in the state. Where do you see the mental mindset of today's students? What do we as parents, community leaders, and future employers need to be aware of and do to support our students to ensure that they are successful moving forward?
That's a great question, and you know, I wouldn't do what I do every day if it wasn't to be able to connect with the beautiful young men and women that are our students. What I would say to you all, and maybe there's some people out here, you know, the youth of today, they don't want to do this, they don't want to do that, or maybe we use the lazy word. I don't see it. I'll be honest with you. I see very caring, loving young people that want to make a difference in the world for the most part. Certainly people make mistakes sometimes and don't make the right choices. But what I would say to you is listen to them. Not talk to them, listen to them. Because they understand issues like diversity, equity, inclusion better than most of us that grew up in a different paradigm. They understand how they view the future much differently than those of us that grew up in a different paradigm. You know, I I'm old enough now to have listened to my grandmother talk about an ice box. Never saw one besides in an antique store, but the refrigerator was always an ice box. And that was her paradigm. She was born in 1898. She went from riding horses to flying on jet airplanes. And I would challenge each and every one of you to think about that in your paradigm. And then listen to the young people. You want to learn about what they want to do in the future to be comfortable in a workforce? Listen to them. Have that conversation. But most importantly, listen. We have amazing young people in this community. They certainly need our support. The pandemic has been challenging on all of us, but they are nonetheless amazing young people that need us and need us to listen to them.
And for Supervisor, the Mayor Pro Tem, and the Mayor, students in our community, children in our community have certainly been impacted during the COVID era. What have you noticed about your residents and or businesses that has changed as we continue to put COVID in the rearview mirror? For example, is the work from home model here to stay? Is that a big attraction to folks that move into your communities? And what has been impacted, if anything, in terms of services that municipal government is being asked to provide to those residents?
I'll jump in. So, I mean, I think our businesses have been, our businesses are wildly innovative too, right? And they recognize the change. I was shopping at Meijer yesterday, and it was remarkable. Like, the same amount of people were getting. I think there's like a new way to check out at Meijer, like every 3 months it seems like, and there's less and less people working. And there's more and more technology, and that's true with a lot of our businesses. Most of our businesses now, our restaurants, everyone wants a drive-through. That culture has kind of changed. It's changed from the city perspective. I mean, we do virtual inspections now. We can do inspections on iPads from our desks as opposed to going out to every building we used to go out to. The work from home model, I mean, I think we're in an area that benefits from that because, instead of, a lot of our folks traditionally maybe worked here, went down to Southfield or Detroit for jobs. If they can work from home, that's better. They're enjoying our parks more. They're enjoying our resources here more. Now, I know everybody on my personal team, the City of Rochester Hills and Place, they don't like to work from home. They like to be in the office. They like to be around people. And I actually, yeah, okay, there we go. That's right. Trying to be the. You guys remember Pam Valentic? She used to work at the City of Rochester Hills.
First the pickleball.
We're
now
hiring.
this.
She's hired. She's hired.
Now you're a bus driver, apparently. Way to go.
Not a bus driver. What are we giving her? Come on.
It is something, in all seriousness, we are going to have to figure out that model. We are going to have to figure out how to, because people want flexibility. But I am someone that still is a little bit old school, and I hate saying old school, but I mean, I feel that there are some real benefits. I mean, so many of you have built your businesses, looking across this room and knowing a lot of you, on personal relationships, on handshakes, on coffees at the chamber, on events, on real good old-fashioned, relationships. And I don't want that to go away. I get much less from a Zoom meeting than I do from this. And so I want to make sure we maintain that because I think that's part of our secret sauce.
I just have a couple quick comments on that. I do agree. We'll always have bus drivers and nurses going into the workplace, but work has changed and how we work has changed. And so I think, you have to look for the good in that. I've noticed that I've gotten to know some of my neighbors because everyone's still working from home. And so as the businesses in downtown, perhaps they're open for lunch because people are working from home and they're ordering out. From a city standpoint, we have made some adjustments and changed our practices and how we work with residents. We've improved our online bill pay. In the downtown restaurants, I think we will continue to have our outdoor dining. We don't have a long season for outdoor dining, but I think those are some things that will remain and stay positive in our community.
And I would say that we pretty much didn't see that much of a dramatic change as far as the government is concerned. We didn't get a lot of complaints as far as the structure and whatnot we have in Oakland Township in order to support at-home work and school. And speaking for someone, that I do work from home and have for over 12 years, and I travel a lot for when it's necessary. So I travel for business wherever I'm needed, tool shops, plants, wherever. So I see the model can be interpreted by, there is some between the workers and the businesses. what they come to agree upon, because some, yes, I agree, just that face-to-face interaction and that connection, especially in a lot of service-type jobs and whatnot, that's very important. And then in other worlds, perhaps like mine, it's a little different. So every industry will have their own way of dealing with this. So we'll see where it goes heading forward. We don't know what the outcome essentially will be at the end.
Thank you. We have 2 audience questions directed at individuals on the panel, and then one final question for the 4 of you. First to Mayor Barnett. Question is, I moved to Rochester Hills 8 years ago with my husband. We now have 2 kids. Can I still get a puppy?
It's verified.
Okay.
Of course, sure. It's what I'm going to say now. It's a brilliant question to really put me on the list. Yeah. Yes, of course you can. And let me just say one thing to track this. We all get along really, really well, and the fact that that's unique is that our communities really complement each other, right? So we don't have the downtown. We don't need a downtown because Rochester does downtown really, really well, right? So we respect that. We love that. We love supporting them. We have in Rochester Hills, we have 2 great school districts, Avondale and Rochester. But we support them in any way we possibly can. Rochester Hills brings a unique mix to the table as well. In Oakland Township, obviously, you guys do your thing.
We're where you live.
Yeah, if you have a ridiculous salary, you can live in Oakland Township, right? But if you want to get gas, eat at a restaurant, or have neighbors, you live here, right?
Yes.
But we do get along really well.
You.
And let me tell you why that's unique. There's so many places that don't get along. You don't really understand how important that is until you live somewhere where they don't, where your councils are at odds, where your communities are at odds, where your legislators are at odds with your local officials. We don't have that here. That's a huge benefit, and it's something we should actually really celebrate.
So yes, most definitely. What a wonderful segue into the last question for the Mayor Pro Tem. When is the city of Rochester going to get a dog park? Penny and Kona want to know.
So today it's all about dogs and pickleball. So frankly, that has been discussed at our Sister City Committee. So Sister City, Rochester Hills, there is a group of elected officials that meet. I see some of them smiling at me. And dog park was discussed. And honestly, there's just not quite enough space in Rochester. Rochester Hills has a little bit more space than us. So we
Say it one more time.
think Rochester Hills should have the dog park. We all have different strengths, and so.
I would agree with that.
See, cooperation and competition go hand in hand. That's terrific.
Sounds like we've got some funding support, right? We've got some funding support.
As long as it comes back.
Perhaps.
I've got some projects.
Last question to the 4 of you. As we get ready to turn the calendar to March and look ahead to spring, although you wouldn't know it by the weather today, what's your favorite springtime activity in the Rochester area?
Okay, I got 4.
Bring it.
I have 4 because Rochester is ready, and there's always something happening in downtown Rochester. Number 1, Arbor Day is coming, and we are back at the schools planting trees and talking about trees. Number 2, May 4th. If you want to hear Glenn McIntosh pray for our state and nation, if you thought he was a good speaker, wait till you hear him pray for the National Day of Prayer, first Thursday in May. Number 3, planting at the community garden. It's garden season, it's coming, it's really happening. And number 4, all of our partner communities, Memorial Day Parade. See you there.
How do we follow? I don't know. That's why I went first. Well, I'll go second then, because I don't have that list. I would just say, looking forward to Clean Scene in Oakland Township, which is the first Saturday of May. So anybody out here would like to volunteer, we'd happily accept you coming by. And then I'll go to everything in Rochester and Rochester Hills. Yes. Well, after our community's all clean and spiffy.
So many great things. By the way, Nancy probably won't be at any of those 4 things. She just ticked those things off, right? I like that. No, great events, and obviously walking community calendar. For me, it's spring. I love. Actually, I tried to do this yesterday. I tried to get on my bike.
Play pickleball?
No. But I love pickleballers, just FYI. No, I love riding my bike around the city because for me, like, I always have to be moving, and so I'm already stressed out here because it's like almost 11 and it's been a long time in one room. But the city is great in the spring. I love getting on the trail. I love getting out and seeing my neighborhoods and seeing my neighbors. And also, again, this is a little bit cheesy, but my son is here, Tristan, who's only here because he gets to skip school. I called him out on the way over here. And I loved watching football in the fall for him, and this spring it'll be lacrosse. So counting on a lot from you, son. Don't let me down.
No pressure.
My spring depends on you. So it's.
For me, I'm a teacher at heart and always have been. It's the thing that fuels me. So March is reading month. I know Mark and Mike will be out reading in buildings, and I will be too, because I get to enjoy kids in a way that I don't normally get to. The other thing that I'll be doing is to continue our work at Three Moons Farms up in Oakland Township with our special education students and at-risk students working with the horses and helping them develop. I really enjoy that. It brings me a lot of peace, and watching that growth is really, truly amazing.
That's terrific. Thank you to our panelists, our sponsors, and attendees. On behalf of the Rochester Regional Chamber of Commerce, we appreciate your continued support of this event and the Chamber in general, and we look forward to seeing everyone back here in 2024. Have a wonderful day.